Guys, welcome to downtown Gilbert. Welcome back to downtown Gilbert. We'll give it a couple more minutes before we get started with chapter 2. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Regular old party up here, but I forgot the flag. So I was supposed to fly the Arizona flag on History Day, but I forgot it. Alright guys, so last time in part 1 we went through the introduction of this book, and it basically just said Gilbert was a small farming town until it started explosive growth in the late 1970s, from which it is still recovering. We learned that Gilbert was named for Confederate trader Bobby Gilbert, as well as the Gilbert Spur, which was a split off of the railroad track that comes through here. Without the railroad and a couple of people who purchased land and then subdivided it up, there would be no Gilbert. The first piece of land subdivided was the Gilbert town site. Then that was split up and sold off, I think. Next was the Lacey Tract. The Tracy Lact. And that's basically how it went. Chapter 2, Early Homesteaders. The early settlers began coming to the Gilbert area in the 1890s to establish their homes and farms. T.J. Fincher and his young son Bruce arrived in 1908. They shipped their entire home and farm belongings in a boxcar to a siding next to the Gilbert Depot. Fincher is famous for saying, as he looked around the depot out toward the surrounding area, I could see nothing but alfalfa growing in every direction. There were no businesses other than the depot at that time in Gilbert. Some people living in the area wanted the town to be called Pine after one of the earliest families, but there was already a Pine, Arizona. That's still around. Settlers began establishing businesses in Gilbert, and by 1914, the first subdivision had been developed. Oh, shit. Disaster, guys. Actually, no, I think we're good. Yeah, Pine's an awesome place. If you ever get the chance. Wow, what a fail. Sorry, guys. Yeah, fatality. Wow. Settlers began establishing businesses in Gilbert, and by 1914, the first subdivision had been developed. Gilbert's town site made it possible for people who are not able to farm or homestead a large parcel of land to own a lot with a small home. In 1917, Lacey Tract was developed and named after the family of Philip and Mary Lacey, who arrived in 1911. The pioneers developed local customs and social activities, usually around their church and community. Picnics along the canals, hayrack rides, and corn roasting provided entertainment and a respite from their hard labor. Along the third canal, the Roosevelt Canal, one of the water pumps hit a hot water pool below that created a place for people to relax from their responsibilities. Here we go, here we go. Who's this? Who do we got, guys? Ooh, James Pine left. Arrived in the Gilbert area around 1896 and homesteaded 160 acres at the southwest corner of Guadalupe and Gilbert Roads, just to the right of us. His son Charles developed and cultivated the land and later served on the Gilbert School Board. Alfred Pine, below, was the son of Charles and the grandson of James. Alfred graduated from Gilbert High School, went to college, and then returned home to farm the family homestead. Alfred also served on the Gilbert School Board as his father had done before him. Alfred married Marion Bond, whose father was also a homesteader in Gilbert. Marianne and Alfred were major contributors in the creation of the Mesa Country Club. The Pines. Who's this? Will Ferrell? Who do we got? Who's that, Prince? Who's that, the Prince? Charles and Brass homesteaded on the northwest corner of Gilbert and Ray Roads, about 2 miles to the left of us. His daughter Nellie married Lowell Stiles, and they had a daughter named Ruth, who married Hugh Giesel. Ruth and Hugh raised their family east of Gilbert Road between Elliott and Warner Roads. That's right where we are. Oh no, that's to the left of us. Ruth was a preservation activist in the community who, in 1998, moved to restore 4 1920s era homes and turn them into businesses to create the farmhouse village on their homestead. This aerial photo of Gilbert with the view looking northwest was taken from the southeast. On the left side, looking northwest was taken. Okay, that's not us, but almost. On the left side of the photograph are, from bottom to top, the Gilbert Depot, the canal, the Capital Fuel Feed and Seed Company, the Noel Home, the Page Store, and the Blakely Garage. Across from the depot is the back of White's Blacksmith Shop, and to the right is Clement's Garage. Wow. These are the homesteaders. John L. Anderson was born in Canada on August 9, 1853, and was of Scottish descent. He and his wife, Elizabeth Jarrett, migrated to North Dakota, where their children were born. They came to Gilbert in 1886 and were the first to file a homestead patent and actually develop the land. Wow. 6 of their children attended the Highland School, the first school built in the Gilbert area in 1900. Wow. He looks Scottish as fuck. Look. Excuse my language, but that's how he looks. Who's this clown? Bill Anderson, son of John L. Anderson, was a cowboy and a farmer. He was a board member of the Bank of Gilbert in 1917 and later was in charge of ranch loans for Valley Great Depression. Wow, I messed that up. And was later in charge of ranch loans for Valley National Bank. In the 1930s, during the Great Depression, he purchased land for 32 cents an acre east of Gilbert in Mesa, where the General Motors Proving Ground used to be and where the Eastmark community is now. Looks like a Joker to me. I bet he was funny. Ward Burke and his future wife, Mildred Lacey, met at a picnic in 1913. They later married and went back to Ward's farm in Iowa, where they farmed for 4 years. In 1918, they moved to Gilbert and worked the Lacey farm southeast of town. Ward served as a constable in Gilbert from 1923 to 1926. He used this automobile to apprehend people who were making whiskey without a license. Wow, Gilbert's first cop. Bootlegging was a common offense during the 20s and 30s. Burke also served twice as mayor of Gilbert, first from 1937 to 1939 and again from 1943 to 1945. Burke is shown below with his daughters Harriet, Hazel, and Norma. You could say that was Gilbert's first police car. Go ahead, you could say that. William and Elizabeth Barkley brought their family to the Gilbert area in 1886 and began homesteading land between Baseline and Guadalupe roads in 1896. Together, the Barkley family members farmed 800 acres. This family donated land for the first 2 schools in Gilbert, one built in 1900 and another in 1909. Each was known as the Highland School. The Barkleys. What's this? Wow. That's a real American there. William Augustus Barkley, later known as Tex Gus Barkley. No, you can't change both your names like that, though. Tex Gus Barkley was the son of William and Elizabeth Barkley. He loved being a cowboy and purchased the Quarter Circle U Ranch, which he ran for his entire adult life. His son, Bill, continued running the ranch after Tex died. Tex was famous for his sense of humor and telling stories about the Superstition Mountains, where the ranch was located. Pilker Drug Store, located on the west side of Main Street, Gilbert Road, between 1st Street, Page Avenue, and Central Avenue, Columber Avenue, was the first pharmacy in Gilbert. It was later purchased by Hap Noel, who moved it to the east side of Main Street. It was renamed the Gilbert Rexall Drug Store and eventually sold to Tom Cady, who operated it for over 30 years. first store in Gilbert was built in 1910 by A.W. Ayers and stood on the south end of where Norwood Furniture is today. Ayers later took a partner, David Butler. A Mr. Dublin then bought out Ayers. Dublin and Walter M. Page, who eventually bought out Butler, had the Dublin and Page market, and later Page became the sole owner. Page also served as mayor of Gilbert from 1927 to 1937. That was the first store in Norwood Furniture. Gilbert was awarded a post office in 1912, and David Butler was the first postmaster. In those days, a post office would often be established in a grocery store or a business. The Ayers and Butler store was awarded the honor, and Gilbert citizens began receiving mail in their own town. Ethel Lacey and Winnie Johnson were two longtime postmistresses. This just says, Sir, with reference to the proposal establishment of a post office at Gilbert, Maricopa, Arizona, you are requested to supply promptly on this form the information and the plot called for, and to cause the proper certification, page 3, to be correctly filled out. Respectfully, P.V. DeGraw. It's asking for the nearest railroad, the nearest station, the 3 nearest post offices in opposite directions, nearest prominent river, and the nearest creek. That's what it's asking. Everett and Nellie Wilbur farmed on land given to them by Everett's father at the southwest corner of Gilbert and Elliott Roads. They donated a portion of their property for the Gilbert Public School District's first elementary school, built in 1913, and the First Methodist Church south of the school, and developed Wilbur's home subdivision. Their children were Robert, Alice, Walter, George, Catherine, Ethel May, and Joseph. Gilbert Elementary School is still there. Clive Davis opened the C.C. Davis Market on the east side of Main Street, Gilbert Road, between Cullenber and Page Avenue. Davis's cousin opened a liquor store and bar at the corner of Gilbert Road and Williamsfield Roads called Norton's Corner, which was a very popular watering hole for over 50 years. That's true, Norton's Corner. Hubert Sawyer homesteaded in Gilbert in 1908. His wife and son, John, followed in 1909. Soon after, a daughter, Elizabeth, was born. In 1909, Hubert helped build the second school in Gilbert, where he later taught. He served on the Gilbert School Board when it was created in 1913. John also served on the school board, and Elizabeth was treasurer of the Gilbert Historical Society for 28 years. He looks like he's from Gilbert, huh? Well, he's not. He's from somewhere else. Whoa, he's a Mason. Look, he's a Mason. In 1880, Orson Cooper came to Mesa with his parents. He married his wife Sybil in 1900, and in 1909 they made their home on the southwest corner of Baseline and Cooper Roads. Their dairy was near the first Highland School. Their son Morris, below, served as mayor of Gilbert from 1959 to 1967, and another son, Jim, was a state representative for many years. In 1921, Morris married Ruth Burke, the daughter of Amos and Cora Burke. They had 2 daughters, Cleora and Dawn. While mayor, Morris named Burke Street after his wife's family. After Ruth died in 1964, Morris married Gertrude Brookins Mortensen, a widow. That's Morris Cooper. His dad, Orson Cooper, right there, the Mason. You could tell because of the Mason. The weird Mason symbol. Gilbert Mortensen came to Gilbert in 1910 and lived at the northwest corner of Guadalupe and Cooper Roads. He married Gertrude Brookins in 1918, right after she graduated with the first class of Gilbert High School. They had one daughter, Mary Lois. Delbert and Gertrude moved to the Brookins' old homestead property north of Guadalupe Road and east of Greenfield Road in 1942. Delbert died in 1959, and Gertrude continued to live on the property with her mother until she later married Morris Cooper. Gertrude Wright was instrumental in the formation of the Gilbert Historical Museum, Gilbert Historical Museum. There she is being hanged. Just kidding, she's not being hanged. All right. Couple more pages, guys. Everybody doing all right? Ooh, this is Sonora Town. I'll do a drone flyover of that someday. In 1918 to 1919, C.H. Russell, a local land developer, decided to provide reasonably priced lots for the many Mexicans moving to Gilbert. He developed a triangular parcel of land at the southwest corner of Warner and Gilbert Roads and called it Sonora Town. The lots were sold exclusively to these new immigrants. Many of the original descendants still reside in these homes. The view looking north shows an unpaved Gilbert Road around 1918 to 1920. On the far right is the C.C. Davis store. To the north are the Pilker Drug Store, the Bank of Gilbert, and then Timmons Garage, which came before the Gilbert Garage. In June 1920, the newly incorporated town made its first major improvement by paving Main Street from a little north of Timmons Garage to Central Avenue, Cullenberg. Joseph and Luvina Norton came to Gilbert from Iowa in 1905 and established their farm on the west side of Cooper Road, half a mile south of Baseline Road. They had 3 children, Evelyn, Vera, and Vernon. Joe raised various crops and hogs, operated a small dairy, and also worked at the Gilbert Cotton Ginning Company. In 1930, he started a chicken hatchery and built a second house on the north side of West Park Avenue. Luvina provided room and board for some of the Gilbert teachers. Vera graduated from Gilbert High School in 1928, received her teacher's certificate from Whittier College in Whittier, California, and returned to Gilbert to teach for several years. She then married and returned to California. Above are, from left to right, first row, Vera and Evelyn. Second row, Joe and Vina. Below is the Norton Farm, 1912. We've made it to the last page of chapter 2. Oh, look, a wedding. Seen in the photograph at left, Fernando Ruiz married Virginia Contreras on February 14, 1926. They lived in a 2-bedroom adobe built by Fernando on the northeast corner of Ash Street and Page Avenue, where the Hale Theater is today. They had 10 children. Eva died at 1 week of age. Margaret, Manuel, Raul, Dahlia Dolly, Anadina Annie, Fernando Jr. Jr., Azucena Susie, Celia Sally, Sarah, and Concepcion Connie. How many kids? Fernando delivered hay, picked cotton, and herded sheep, and Virginia was a seamstress. Many of their descendants still live in the East Valley. Below are, from left to right, Junior Ruiz, Sarah Ruiz, Irene Ramirez, and Andrew Lopez in front of Fernando's hay delivery truck. And that's it. Next time, guys, Chapter 3, Town Life. Children, 6 of them are Fernando Jr. Jr., Fernando Triple Jr., Fernando Cuatro. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I've been having fun doing this. It's gonna be fun for me to be able to go back and watch it if I ever forget anything. I'm gonna keep doing this one chapter at a time. Grandkids by the time she's 30. Yeah, that's the thing. You need kids back then to work the farm and to raise the babies. So strategery, guys. I can stay alive for a little bit and go for a motorcycle ride. I don't have my gear though, so I can't go too fast or too far. So I got a package to pick up tomorrow. Sorry, I'm trying to fix this. There we go. Alright, we'll go for a mini ride. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys.
Just remember to always think twice. Don't think twice. She told my baby there's 2, 3, 2 and me. Didn't you know, baby, cries eyes were like mine. You would dance on the floor in the runway. People always told me, be careful what you do. Oh, bigger than girls' eyes.
joke or to light up your smoke, but there's some place that he'd rather be. He says, Bill, I believe this is killing me. As the smile ran away from his face. Well, I'm sure that I could be a movie star if I could get out of this place. Oh, la, la, did it all. La, la, did it all. Now Paul is a real estate novelist who never had time for a wife. And he's talking with David, who's still in the Navy, and probably will be for life. Good crowd for a Saturday, and the manager gives me a smile, 'cause he knows that it's me they've been coming to see, to forget about life for a while. And the piano sounds like a carnival, and the microphone smells like a beer, and they sit at the bar and put bread in my jar and say, man, what are you doing here? Oh, la, 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 did-it-da. La, la, did-it-da. La, la. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you got us feeling alright.
KSLX. Here's your next bribe for downloading the All-Day-Z 93.3 app in June. Concerts for a year. You.
Like 80s music? Set a button for 99.9 KEZ for songs from the 80s to now. 99.9 KEZ.
This September, our iHeartRadio Music Festival is
A weekend full of superstar performances.
Avril Lavigne,
Black Eyed Peas.
Halls.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once? I am one of those melodramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm she says it's like upsets that's bringing me down. I went to a horn. It said I was a born. Jump with my weather looks and bring it down. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I feel like I'm just hanging on. When I went into control, so I better hold on. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm figuring it out. Then I'm just paranoid.
I'd love to. It's just.
Everything. It's the morning. That's okay, man.
Before you, that's what I said. Now this is the princess who adore you. Just got her one nice diamonds in his pockets, and that's no great. Now this one said he wants to buy you rockets, ain't in his head This one got the Christmas racket. That's what I said now. Got some mixing up on his jacket. Ain't in his head now. You marry him, your father will condone you. How about that now? You marry me, your father will disown you. Him in his head now. Marry him or marry me. I'm the one that looking better, can't you see? I ain't got no fish off in the tree, but I wanna put another heart to be. I wanna put another heart to be. Said if you want to call me baby, just go ahead now. And if you like to tell me baby, just go ahead now. And if you wanna buy me flowers, just go ahead now. And if you
Man, 8 months is just barely getting to know Gilbert. Well, I hope you, who is that? Darlene, have you been here before? I hope you come back to the stream and check us out. We have a lot of exciting stuff goes on in the nightlife. But thanks for hanging out with me for this Chapter 2 history lesson and this mini ride, guys. Chapter 3 is next. I'll get around to it, I don't know, once per week or so. And we'll do our regular streams on the weekends, Friday nights, Saturday nights, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Arizona time. Check out my website, gilbertbystander.com. Send me an email, gilbertbystander@gilbertbystander.com. Tomorrow, I might or might not stream the opening of the package that we got in the P.O. box. But thanks to whoever sent the package. I don't know who it was. But let's not waste any more time. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Love you guys.